Good evening, everyone. In the previous session of Management of Financial Services, I started explaining about a new topic which was called New Issue Market. So in the previous session, I just gave an introduction to New Issue Market and I described the main or the most important function of New Issue Market. Okay. So first of all, in today's session, I am going to explain about the merits and demerits of New Issue Market. Then I am going to give a brief introduction about stock exchange, and then I will explain the difference between new issue market and the stock exchange. Okay, now let's begin the session. So first of all, these are the advantages of new issue market. See, first of all, every topic, every aspect has both advantages and disadvantages. In the same manner, new issue market provides so many opportunities for the borrowers and for the investors also. But at the same time, it has some disadvantages also. So first of all, today we are going to discuss, I'm going to explain about the major advantages of new issue market, and then I will explain the disadvantages of new issue market. Okay. So the first point that you all can see on the screen is that avenue for investment. So first of all, new issue market provides avenue for investment. See, many organizations require a large amount of fund for different purpose, either for starting a business or for expanding the existing business. And for these reasons, they need to arrange a large amount of money, and new issue market provides them opportunity for issuing different kinds of securities so that they can raise funds. And at the same time, when such kind of securities, variety of securities are available in market, the investors are also interested to invest in different types of security. They consider the various aspects of the securities, whether what kind of return they are supposed to get, what is the time period of such kind of investment. So because there are so many types of instruments are available in the new issue market, the investors have wide choice. They can choose any kind of security in which they would like to or they would prefer to make an investment. And in the new issue market, when securities are issued, it provides a better opportunity for investment, especially for many household investors or any kind of investors who do not want to invest in physical assets. And if we compare these kind of investment, the financial assets with the physical assets, financial assets provide more benefits, more return in comparison to physical assets. And another problem with the physical asset is that they have to arrange a large amount of money. As individuals, they have to arrange a large amount of money to purchase a physical asset. But in case of securities, it depends upon them in which security they would prefer to invest, whether they want to invest in invest a small amount so that they can directly purchase shares of any company, or if they want to invest in large amount, they have also investment opportunities. They have also securities through which they can invest large amount of money. So because variety of investments are available, variety of securities are available, it provides an avenue for investment for the investors. Okay. The second point or the second advantage of new issue market is mobilization of funds or mobilization of savings. See, investors are scattered all over India. Some prefer to invest in small quantity, some prefer to invest in large quantity, and each and every investor can find the security according to their preference in the new issue market. Like I said, that if a person wants to invest only 10,000 rupees, they can invest in different types of security. If an investor wants to invest a large amount of money, they can also do that. So, new issue market actually mobilizes the savings of people who are scattered all over India, and the people, the organization who require funds, they also get funds because it is very difficult to make direct communication with the investors. But with new issue market, the information is easily spread out. So whoever wants to invest in the securities of new issue market, sorry, invest in the securities which are issued for the first time, they can invest in such kind of issues. So this helps in mobilization of savings. This helps in creation or large pool of savings which can be easily invested in the new issue market. Okay. The second one is channelizing savings for productive use. See, there are various different types of investment opportunities, but new issue market actually channelize the savings of the investor in a productive use, or they encourage to invest in a productive way so that they can get proper return from them, whether it is in the form of interest or whether it is form of dividend, or whether it is form of collection of the entire amount after the maturity time period. So it actually channelizes, it actually advises and creates an opportunity for the investors to invest in the right direction in the investment securities, in such kind of securities which are very productive, which can provide higher returns. And it also avoids all those kind of unproductive securities or unproductive methods or unproductive ways of investment of money. Okay. The next one is rapid industrial growth. So how a country can actually develop if they have, if a how a company can actually develop or grow if they have opportunity of raising fund, large amount of fund from the public. So this opportunity is provided by the new issue market. See, if a business does not have enough sources of raising fund, they need a large amount of money for various reasons. And it is very difficult for a single organization, single institutions, it is very difficult for a single institution or a single person to provide that much amount of money. So new issue market provides an opportunity for many organizations, many companies to issue different types of securities according to the requirement. And the market for such securities is very huge. They can sell their securities to any person, to any organization, to any institutions. And the amount for which they are the amount for which they have issuing such kind of security, they can easily get it through different types of securities, whether it is equity shares, preference shares, debentures, or even for short-term purpose also, they can raise a large amount of money. So it leads to rapid industrial growth, where collection of finance, where sources of finance are available, where getting finance, it becomes easy. It definitely leads to creation of more and more companies, and it will lead to rapid industrial growth. So this is also one of the most important advantage of new issue market, because it leads to the creation of different kinds of company, and it also boosts up the financial condition, the economy of the entire country. Okay. The next point here says that sources of expansion and technology upgradation. So like the organization which are already existing, they have been operating in the market for many years. It gives a scope for them to expand, because raising money has become easy through new issue market. So it becomes easy for them to expand their business, to grow, and they can introduce any kind of technology. They can upgrade their technology so that more and more investors would be interested in investment. More and more investors would be interested in investing in those companies who are very much up to date, who upgrade their technology, who give tough competition to other competitors. So a new issue market not only provides opportunity for the companies to expand, but also it provides opportunity for them to grow in a different way, like upgrading their technology, upgrading their entire organization. Okay. So these are some of the most important advantages of new issue market. Now let me explain the disadvantages of new issue market. Like I said, each and every topic, each and every aspect has both advantage and disadvantage. So as I have already explained the advantages, now I'll just explain the disadvantages of new issue market. The first one is possibility of deceiving investors. So is it possible for the companies to deceive or cheat the investors? Yes, it is. If an organization claims that the investors are going to get return in a very large amount, they are going to get very high amount of return their claims are going to be means they will have major claims over the organization. So if such kind of information, misleading informations are provided by the company, then the investors will be easily deceived by such company. So a company can also provide misleading information or some kind of information which are not at all correct, some kind of fake informations regarding the return they are supposed to get. They are not disclosing the important matters, they are not disclosing the real element of the securities. So such kind of things can lead to deceiving the investors can get cheated also. And in such situation, it is also very difficult to get the money back. Suppose an investor has invested in certain kind of securities and the company has cheated the investor, whether it is in term of the interest rate or the maturity rate or the total sum of money that they are going to get after the maturity date. So if the company has deceived, then it becomes a very difficult procedure for the investor to get the money back. They have to file a case against them, they have to complain. So lot of problems may be created, the lot of problems may be faced by the investors. So yes, there is one of the major disadvantage that companies can deceive, can cheat the investors by showing some kind of unreal information, so providing them misleading informations or exaggeration of such kind of returns. Okay, the next one is no fixed norms for project appraisal. Suppose as an investor, you have invested in an expansion project of a company. So you have invested, but there are no fixed rules, regulations, or norms which can actually appraise the efficiency and effectiveness of such project. How much amount of money has been invested in such project and how much they have actually earned from investing in such project. So that kind of norms are not fixed. So that kind of appraisal is not conducted. So once you have invested in a company, it becomes very difficult to know the actual it becomes very difficult for the investors to understand and know how much amount of profit the company has earned by investing in a particular project. So that makes it very difficult for the investors. They may get lower rate of return, they may get lower interest rate. So many possibilities are there. Next one is lack of post-issue seriousness. So once a company has issued certain kind of security and all the security has been subscribed. So after that, the seriousness of the company actually reduces. The different procedure that take place after the issue of the shares, after subscription of the shares, even the seriousness of the company reduces. The investor face many problems. They are not communicated properly with proper information. They are not provided any kind of information there. If they are equity shareholders, there may be some kind of cases where the opinions of the equity shareholders are not being heard by the management. So the seriousness after subscription that every company must have, because they have the money of the investor and now it is the duty of the company to give something in return, whether it is in term of performance, whether it is in term of return, or whether it is in term of any kind of increment or something like bonus or something. So that kind of seriousness is not seen in many organizations, because once everything is subscribed, now they will focus on their organization. They won't provide such kind of important information to the investors. And it becomes also difficult for the investor to check the performance of the organization, to check the performance of the company in which they have invested. So that creates different kind of problem. The mutual trust between the company and the investors is not that strong because information is not provided to the investors properly. Clear? The next one is ineffective role of merchant bankers. Now, merchant bankers play a very important role in the new issue market. So merchant bankers, they usually they usually help the organization they usually help the organization regarding project appraisal, regarding the technical, managerial and feasibility aspect of a project. They give valuable advice whether these kind of securities are going to be beneficial for the from the investor's point of view or not, whether even it is practical at this point of view to go for such kind of securities, to issue such kind of securities. So there are many aspects which a merchant bankers covers from the organization. They have to understand the market situation. They have to give proper advice to the organizations, to the companies, so that they can issue right kind of security by seeing the economic condition, the market conditions, as well as the interest of the investors. If that role is not played properly by the merchant bankers, many investors would definitely feel cheated, because they may have been invested, they may have invested in such kind of securities which are not feasible, which are not practical, which are not technical and managed, which are not technically possible in such kind of situation, which may have many problems in future. So because of lack of, because the merchant bankers do not play their role properly and efficiently, many investors face many problems, and even they feel cheated, that the organization have cheated them by not disclosing certain elements of the subscription, certain elements of the securities. So that creates a major, or that discourages the investors to invest in any kind of security. Clear? The next one is delay in allotment of shares. So once equity shares or preference shares are issued by any company, people will apply for such kind of shares. Now, after getting application from the public, the company is supposed to allot shares. So once these shares are purchased by the, once the application is received by the company, the allotment process becomes very much delayed. There are certain times where the organization has to refund the amount of money. If there is over subscription, they have to repay the amount of money to the investors whom they haven't allotted any kind of shares, or whom they have allotted only few number of shares. So that process get delays. They are not informed regarding any kind of, they are not getting any, they are not getting their money back. So this leads to many problems. The money is been blocked by the company for a long time period. They may have invested that amount of money in other investments, and they could have got any kind of interest from their other investments. So delay in allotment process creates many problems for the investors, due to which they lose faith in such kind of system. Clear? The next one is poor mobilization of funds. So in the previous topic, in the advantages of the new issue market, I have explained the mobilization of funds. But still, a large number of investors, large number of people who are saving money, their funds are not mobilized, they are not used in the new issue market. Nearly only 50% of the saved funds are used or invested in the new issue market. The rest of the 50% is not being mobilized. So that is one of the major problem in the new issue market. People are saving, but they are not trusting the companies which are issuing different kinds of securities. They do not feel that these kind of securities are trustworthy. These kind of securities are going to provide them with regular source of income. So these kind of things actually discourage them, because it is also very highly risky for them. They may lose their entire amount of investment. Such kind of unsecurity, such kind of information, lack of information leads to poor mobilization of funds. It becomes very difficult for the companies to encourage the investors to invest. They prefer some kind of the people, the public prefer some kind of investment sources through which the money is safe, the money is secured, and the return is regular, even if it is very low. Clear? The next one is hesitancy to invest in shares. So there is always, in Indian market, there is always a hesitancy from the saver, from the public who saves money regarding investment in shares, because share markets are not, cannot be predicted accurately or near accurately. There are chances that if one of the major companies goes bankrupt, if some kind of scams are conducted or something goes out, or if, for example, there was a situation when Satyam company, it was disclosed how they were engaged in different kinds of other activities which reduced their market price of the share. Suddenly, it reduced to around 6 rupees. during that time, and that affected the entire share market. So during that time, the market price of all the most of the companies were reduced because it was such a shock to the market. So there is a high level of risk if the investors invest in share market, invest in shares, because it fluctuates very much, and the fluctuation may not be predicted. If the fluctuations may be too risky also. So that because of these reasons, investors hesitate to invest in shares. They prefer different kinds of securities which will provide them regular dividend or fixed dividend, or even other types of interest. Okay, so these are the disadvantages of new issue market. Okay. Now I will explain another topic which is related to new issue market, because when we are discussing about the new issue market, we have to understand about the stock exchange, which is the secondary market. So when we are discussing about the primary market, we need to have some kind of information and knowledge regarding the secondary market also. Okay. So first of all, the stock exchange is market for the old security, which simply means that it is the market for those securities which are already being issued in the new issue market. So when a new security is issued in the primary market, after being issued in the primary market, then they are listed in the stock exchange. So then they are again bought and sold, purchased and sold in the stock exchange. So these kinds of securities, these kind of companies are already listed in the stock exchange. The securities are already issued and listed in the stock exchange. So it basically deals with old securities which are already issued and listed on the stock exchange. Now these securities are purchased and sold continuously among various investors without the involvement of the company. Suppose Mr. A has purchased shares worth rupees 1000 of a particular company. Now Mr. A can sell those number of shares, entire number of shares or some of the shares at any point of time to anybody. The company do not need to get involved. So the shares are easily transferable from one person to another person, from one institution to another institution, without the involvement of the companies. Okay. So it does not only provide free transferability of shares, but it also evaluates the securities which are traded in the market. The market price that you are seeing, each and every share has a particular market price which increases or decreases depending upon the financial condition of the company, depending upon the different types of projects the company is taking, depending upon the other companies which also affect the market situation. So it not only provides opportunity for free transferability of the shares from one person to another person, but at the same time it evaluates the securities which are traded. It shows the investor that which kind of security can be purchased, with the price of the securities, which shares have higher price, which shares have lower price, what is the financial condition of the company. So these things are evaluated and revealed by the stock exchange. So this is basically the basic introduction, or we can say the meaning of stock exchange. Now I'm going to explain the difference between stock exchange and new issue market. This needs to be understood by all the students, because there is a major difference between new issue market and stock exchange. Now these differences can be divided into three point of difference. First one is functional difference, second one is organizational difference, and the third one is nature of contribution to industrial finance. Okay, so these are the three types of difference which I'm going to explain now. So as you all can see on the screen, these are the 3 points of difference, and how a new issue market is different from stock exchange from each and every point of view. First of all, the functional difference. What is the difference between new issue market and stock exchange? Based on the functions of these two markets. So new issue market deals with new securities which are issued for the first time for public subscription. Like I have already explained, the securities, when they are issued for the first time, they are issued in the new issue market, which is available for the public subscription. Whereas stock exchange actually is it provides a ready market for buying and selling of all securities. That means these are those securities which are already issued by the companies which are listed in the stock exchange. One of the most important fact is that whoever wants to invest, sorry, whoever whichever company wants to issue any kind of security like shares or debentures, they need to get listed in the stock exchange. Without that, they cannot issue any kind of shares, debentures, or security. So that is very important. So stock exchange provides a ready market for buying and selling of securities, old securities, the securities which have been already issued by the company. For example, the shares which are issued in the new issue market for the first time, they will be again, they can be sold and bought again in the stock exchange. Okay. The second point of difference is organizational difference. Organization means from the perspective of organization, how these two markets are different. So first of all, new issue market does not have any organizational setup. You won't find a particular location of new issue market. There is no administrative organizational setup. There are no norms which can centralize or control the new issue market, and administration for execution of the new issue market. There is no centralized control and administration for execution of the business. So in simple words, it means that it does not have a tangible form. It does not have a fixed place, and it does not have centralized control and administration. Clear? But stock exchange has a physical existence. Okay. Each and every state has a stock exchange, and the national stock exchange that we have, the BSE, Bombay Stock Exchange, National Stock Exchange, they are set up in a particular location. Each and every state has a regional stock exchange. So they have a physical existence, and they are located in a particular geographical area. Okay. Now in that area, dealers of securities meet regularly. In that area, means meet regularly. They have fixed time period there. That is, I think 9:30 to 3:30. Within that time, trading takes place, purchasing and selling of shares take place, and they have many rules and regulations. They have these organizations, stock exchange has to follow each and every rule regulation created for the smooth functioning of stock exchange, for smooth functioning purchasing and selling of different kinds of security. So in simple words, new issue market does not have any kind of physical and tangible existence, or they are tangible in nature. But in case of stock exchange, they have physical existence. They are located in a particular geographic area, and they are tangible in nature. Clear? And new issue market is not tangible in nature. The last point is that nature of contribution to industrial finance. Okay. So first of all, new issue market provides issuing company for funds for starting a new business, or it also provides funds to the existing company who is interested for growth, expansion, diversification. Okay. And it links the companies with the investors. Means it simply links the organization which require fund with the investors who are interested to invest in such kind of securities. So it acts as a link between the borrowers and the lenders. If in simple words I have to explain, it acts as a link between the borrowers and the lenders of the funds. Okay. So it provides an opportunity for new companies to issue securities for the first time, and it also provides opportunity for existing company to issue different kinds of security when they need additional funds for the purpose of expansion, diversification, or creation of a different factory, or it can be anything. Okay. But in case of stock exchange, the role of stock exchange in providing capital is indirect, as it provides marketability to the shares. So it does not provide directly funds to the companies, but it provides opportunities through which the shares can be marketable very easily. It simply means that the shares can be purchased and sold at any point of time and easily. Okay, that is the basic objective, the way they contribute to the industrial finance. the purchasing and selling of shares becomes easy because of stock exchange. Suppose you have purchased certain number of shares and tomorrow you can easily sell it to any other person through any kind of stock exchange. So the contribution of stock exchange towards industrial finance is indirect, but the contribution of new issue market towards the industrial finance is direct. Okay, so these are the three major and important difference between new issue market and stock exchange. Okay, in the next session, first of all, I am going to explain what relationship these two markets share with each other, and then I will explain the different types of floating shares in the floating securities in the new issue market. Okay, so that's it for today. We will meet in the next session. Thank you.